Good afternoon, guys. I just wanted to go over the energy study guide with you in case you weren't able to make it to the meet today. So for the energy study guide, the first question we have, energy appears in two forms, and these two forms are potential and kinetic. Question number 2, Miss Montunis is teaching her niece how to jump rope. Where does she have the most potential energy? That would be up in the air. So this is always like at the highest point. At what point does the coaster have the most kinetic energy? That would be when it's going down the biggest hill. So at the bottom, right there at position 2, the coaster would have the most kinetic energy. At position 1, it would have the most potential energy. Question 4, which object has the most potential energy? And this would be object C, because object C and B, even though they are at the same height, object C has more mass, therefore it would also have more potential energy. Question 5, anytime energy is transformed, some energy is always turned into heat or thermal energy or friction. What does kinetic energy depend on? That is mass and speed. So if you increase the mass, you will get a small increase in kinetic energy, but it's mainly speed. If you increase the speed, you're increasing the kinetic energy a lot. An example of kinetic energy continuously being changed to potential and back again is a pendulum or a swing. And if you remember the pendulum that we made with the tennis ball in our office hours lab last week, that is an example of potential to kinetic, potential to kinetic. Question 8, which coaster will not have enough kinetic energy to carry over the second hill? And that would be coaster 1, because this hill is smaller than this hill. So it would go down and probably stop somewhere around here and then just be stuck in this little dip. At what position does the baseball have the greatest potential, the least kinetic? That's again at the highest point. Miss Sunderman is sitting high on a cliff reading her favorite book, because that's just what we do. And Miss Sunderman has potential energy. Why? Because she is higher off the ground. So the higher up you go, the more potential energy you have. Fossil fuels such as gas, oil, and coal have what kind of energy? It's potential energy, but specifically, it's chemical potential energy. There is chemical energy stored in those chemical bonds. The definition of energy is the ability to do work and cause change. Miss Brown and Miss Barham are sled riding. Where do they have the most kinetic energy? At the bottom of the highest hill. Which of the following pictures has kinetic energy? And that would be the dancing bear or object 1, because it is moving. A baseball in play has the lowest gravitational potential energy when? And that's when it's about to hit the ground or at its lowest point. The law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. How can you increase the potential energy of a diver in the Olympics? You can increase the height. Again, the higher up you go, the more potential energy you will have. Question 18, which of the following describes the potential energy and the kinetic energy of the pendulum at position 3? So that's right here. Kinetic energy would be at its highest point, and potential would be at its lowest. The opposite is true at position 1 and position 5. At 1 and 5, kinetic would be the lowest and potential would be the highest. What type of energy is associated with the height of an object above a reference point? That is gravitational potential energy. Question 20, what type of energy does someone have running at 8 miles an hour? That would be kinetic energy. 21, when a coin is dropped to the ground, it loses potential and gains kinetic. What type of energy change is happening in the photo? That is kinetic to potential, back to kinetic. 23, what energy transformation occurs when you turn on a radio? That is electrical to acoustic or sound. And then 24, when you pull a bow, like a bow and arrow, you give it elastic potential energy. All right, guys, that is the study guide, and the test will be on Buzz tomorrow. You have Thursday and Friday to complete it. Thanks, guys. Bye.